Hey guys, welcome back to Election Center, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you guys about the primary that happened yesterday in Massachusetts. And the big news here is Ed Markey beats Joe Kennedy, the challenger. So yeah, this is the Massachusetts Democratic Senate primary. I'm getting my results here from nytimes.com, which the website for the New York Times. Then I'm getting some results here from wbur.com, wbur.org. Anyway, let's just jump into it here. Ed Markey versus Joe Kennedy. So Joe Kennedy loses to Ed Markey by a substantial margin. And part of this, is that Joe Kennedy didn't really have much to offer in terms of why he was running against Ed Markey. Didn't have much reasoning for why he was trying to challenge the incumbent. And if you asked him why he was running, he would just say things like, I'm running for change, I'm running because we need change, and other platitudes like that. And not much to offer on that front, and didn't really have much of a reason to run. And Ed Markey, able to market himself as the staunch progressive of the race. They were both progressives, but I don't think a lot of people knew that. I think if you were progressive, you wanted Ed Markey to win. He was able to market himself as the staunch progressive of the race. Joe Kennedy, while he might have also kind of been a progressive, I think he wasn't really who you wanted to win. If you were a progressive, you were a fan of Ed Markey. That's the impression I'm getting from what I've seen. So yeah, Ed Markey, the progressive of the race, and then even though they're both progressives, and then Joe Kennedy not really having much to offer in terms of why he was running, and talked in a lot of platitudes and stuff, and he bombed the debates. That's another thing. In the debates that happened, Joe Kennedy definitely bombed. He came across as nervous, once again with the platitudes, and not particularly charismatic. I think he got support because he was a Kennedy with that name recognition, but if he wasn't a Kennedy, I don't know if he would be a politician. I mean, he got elected to that House seat, but he didn't really have much to offer, and not particularly able to win over too many voters. Or he was able to win over clearly a good amount of voters, but Ed Markey able to triumph substantially. But anyway, and then there's the Republican primary, lesser known, Kevin O'Connor versus Shiva Ayyadurai. I don't know too much about O'Connor. I know Shiva Ayyadurai ran as an independent for the Massachusetts Senate back in 2018 and got a few points in terms of his percentage of the vote. But Shiva Ayyadurai, I think, is a conspiracy theorist. I know, at the very least, on Wikipedia, they call him a conspiracy theorist. Not sure what he's said that makes them say that, but he also claims to be the inventor of email, but I'm pretty sure he's talking about something that's like called email, but isn't the email you and I know. So I think he's gotten criticisms over those claims, but Kevin O'Connor able to walk away with a strong victory, but Shiva Ayyadurai clearly able to win some votes. That's what went down in the Senate primaries. To sum that up, Ed Markey beats Joe Kennedy because he's able to come off as the staunch progressive, whereas Joe Kennedy, he's able to win over support. Of course, he's a Kennedy, and of course, if there's any opposition to Ed Markey, people who are opposed to Ed Markey, I'm assuming won't have too much of a problem with voting for Joe Kennedy, or they didn't have too much of a problem. Past tense now because this already happened, but didn't really offer too much as to why he was running, and not particularly, in my opinion, not extremely charismatic, and he talked in a lot of platitudes. And so, Ed Markey with the win there. And then, of course, the Republican primary, Kevin O'Connor beats Shiva Ayyadurai, who I think is a conspiracy theorist. They call him that on Wikipedia, and that's the impression I've gotten. But also I want to show you guys, before we move on to some of these other races in the polling, Kennedy had the lead early on, but then that went to Markey as the campaign really kicked into gear. So Ed Markey with a strong victory. But now, moving on to the House races, District 1, the Democratic primary, Richard Neal fends off a challenge from progressive Alex Morse. 58.96% to 41.04%. And so, yeah, strong victory for Richard Neal. Alex Morse not able to unseat Richard Neal in District 1. And then District 4, Jake Auchincloss, I believe that's pronounced, 22.37%. And then it's a tight three-way race. Jesse Mermel, 21.41%. Becky Grossman, 18.03%. And then a lot of other candidates getting substantial percentages, with Jake Auchincloss taking the win. And now, District 4 GOP, probably not going to win, unless this is for some reason a Republican district. I haven't seen if there's a Republican district in Massachusetts. I personally don't believe there is, but maybe I just got to refresh my memory. Julie Hall taking a strong victory over David Rosa. But yeah, that's Republican primary for District 4. And then District 6, Seth Moulton, who I believe ran for president in 2020. I don't think that campaign took off at all. I think I recall back during the Democratic primaries, I saw Moulton 0.6% or something like that on the RCP average. So yeah, I don't think his campaign took off at all, but he's returned to running for House, and he had a strong victory in the primary. And then District 8, Stephen Lynch. I don't know too much about these candidates. I think I may have seen a bit about Robbie Goldstein. She gets a third of the vote against Stephen Lynch getting 2/3. But yeah, that's what went down in the House. So yeah, to sum that all up, progressives lose with Alex Morse versus Richard Neal, and then lots of other races. I know Seth Moulton ran for president, I think. I don't know everything about all these candidates, but yeah, and then in the Senate, Ed Markey beats Joe Kennedy 55.4% to 44.6%, and then there's the Republican primary, Kevin O'Connor beating Shivi Ayyadurai. But the biggest news is Ed Markey versus Joe Kennedy. Ed Markey wins. But yeah, guys, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know your take on all of this, and I'll chat with you guys in the comments. But yeah, if you're into this type of content I make here on the channel about electoral maps, polling data, this is about primaries, and elections that happen, such as this one. I cover all of them. I cover them on this channel, and I cover polling data and all things elections, right? So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, because my videos are going to be right up your alley. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, thought it was interesting, and I'll see you in the next Election Center video. Bye, guys.